Hello and welcome to this late morning taste challenge. This is going to count for Mondays, always, not always, but often problematic. And I'd rather just not have to deal with it on Monday. So then we've already done Fridays. We did this morning. Then we got Saturday morning, which should work fine on its own date, and Sunday morning, Halloween, which should work fine on its own date. Don't have a Halloween theme. I don't typically do theme videos or date specific videos because people watch them out of time. I get comments on videos from 2010 saying, "Oh yeah, what do you think about this beer? I'm glad you did a review," as though I had just done it. So I'd rather do it that way. Now, if it's a live hangout, that's a little different. But still, I'm just going to be running through brands this week and next. So we have from 1987, McAdams. McAdams. Why is it called McAdams? I couldn't tell you. It was apparently introduced by Prestige Beverage Group and is still made by them, or I should say maybe made for them, because they tell you on their website, we're a wine and spirits merchant, and beer too. They are a merchant. They buy and sell. They get products produced for them and they sell the brands under their name, like J&B, Just Arini and Brooks. You've heard of J&B Scotch. They don't make products. They'll tell you that on the website. We procure products, buy them wholesale, retail them. And then that's why they had their own J&B Scotch made for them under their own name. But if you get on their website, that's just one of many products they sell, and a plethora of wine, unbelievable amount of wine that they distribute out. And a lot of companies do that. Pabst does the same thing, although they're getting back into brewing. Liter, imported and bottled by Prestige Beverage Group, Princeton, Minnesota. So it's bottled in Minnesota. Here's Crown Royal Black, introduced in 2010, 90 proof. Now, they wanted to come out with a Crown Royal Strong because Crown Royal was always 80 proof. So it was always like a really mild, low ABV. Most of your other whiskeys, if you remember, used to be 86.6 proof up to 90. That was normal, 86.6 to 90. And then in the early 1990s, or late 1980s to early 1990s, started dropping them all. Now they're all down to 80 proof, more or less, except for a few. Evan Williams still 86 proof. Old Forester base model still 86 proof. So some of them have kept to the tradition, but like Jack Daniels dropped to 80. So here's Crown Royal Black coming in at a very powerful 90 proof, robust, full-bodied blended Canadian whiskey, a product of the Crown Royal Distilling Company, meaning Diageo in Canada. 45% alcohol. A robust blend matured to perfection in charred oak barrels. And is that giving it the dark color? It might be, maybe a little added caramel coloring, doesn't really matter. Beautiful bottle. Imported by the Crown Royal Company, Norwalk, Connecticut. Is it bottled in the USA? It doesn't say that, it just says imported by them. But this one's bottled in Minnesota. I'm going to update that. A lot of Canadian whiskeys are bottled in the United States. Kentucky, Illinois, Minnesota. Bottled in Minnesota by Prestige. There was some controversy about Japanese whiskey, about Japan passed some new rules last year, I think it was, that Japanese whiskey actually has to be made in Japan, blended in Japan, bottled in Japan. You can't just say Japan because it's owned by a Japanese company, something like that. I mean, a lot of people have Japanese cars, like Nissan's built in Mexico or Toyota's built in California. It depends how you look at it, I guess, but we're not looking at that topic right now. We're looking at McAdams, $7.99, 1 liter bottle, $7.99 at Total Wine and More. Crown Royal Black, 1 liter bottle. What did I say it was? 30. Oh man, I can't remember. I was just looking at it this morning, but I was glancing at it more than looking at it. They're both, you can both get them at Total Wine. McAdams I've never seen anywhere but Total Wine. This one I see everywhere. Everybody sells this pretty much. Winn-Dixie, Mud-Thurns, Walmart, convenience stores. Is it a big seller? Nah. Crown Royal's the biggest selling whiskey in Louisiana without any competition. No competition. No meaningful competition. Jack Daniels does fine. Jim Beam does fine. Crown Royal rules Louisiana. I don't know about your state, but I can assure you it rules Louisiana. But not the black. When they had, for like a month, Mathern's couldn't get Crown Royal because of whatever demic or other reason. And people, the hurricane probably affected it. People were in a panic fit, you know. I need my Crown Royal. So they were probably suggesting to them, well, how about the Crown Royal Black, which we have a number of bottles. But you know how consumers are. I'm not trying that. I bet that stuff's terrible. I've heard people say this, like literally. I bet that stuff's terrible. And you're basing that on what? You've researched it? No. You know anything about it? No. You ever tried it? No. Do you know anyone or have spoken to anyone who's tried it? No. But I bet that stuff's terrible. Huh. But you love Crown Royal and you drink it incessantly and they can't even keep it in stock in the stores and it's the greatest thing in the world and you're Union. But the same company who you adore makes a black version. Why it's got to be black? 90%, 90 proof, 45% alcohol, but you won't try it. Really, it's a mystery to me that people can be this way. But they're this way. It's the same with salad dressing, canned beans, cornmeal. They're hung up or fixated on a certain brand, and they'll say, that's my favorite brand of salad dressing. Ranch. Wishbone. Okay. My counterpoint would be, have you tried the other ones? I ain't trying that other junk. What do you think about Kraft Ranch? Oh, I never tried it. What about Ken's Steakhouse Ranch? Oh no, I never. I don't mess with that. Based on the fact that it was bad. No, I never tried it. Okay, but it's on sale. You see, it's 2 for $4, and you actually save money because they don't have the other one. But you won't try that. That kind of stuff just like amazes me. Same with beer. It's the same thing. It's like amazing to me. Okay, $43.99 for a liter of Crown Royal Black. So $8 versus $44. $36 difference, but we're talking about minus a penny on each one. Craziness, right? $36 difference. Hi, Jay. Hope you're doing well. Cheers today. Cheers from Virginia, Spencer Torok. Thank you. Cheers to you. It's getting chilly down here. Lurk, never tried Crown Royal Black. It's a $5 more than normal Crown Royal. Yeah, same here. I used to drink Crown Royal, but I prefer bourbon like Basil Hayden's or Buffalo Trace, which is really pricey in Ontario. You may as well drink what you like. Never knew Crown Royal was so popular in Louisiana. It's one of the bottles that people buy if they want to get drunk around here. Yeah, it's like it's like an institution. I'm serious around here. It's like some part of Louisiana culture. How many people buying it know it's even from Canada? I really don't think they research it at all. I think they pay no mind to the label. They don't know where it's made. They just know, I'm getting my crown. I'm going to get my crown. I knew a guy died drinking the stuff. You say, oh, he had a heart attack while he was drinking it. No, he died from drinking the stuff. Like, that was a terrible story, but he went crazy. But Hennessy, that's the brandy. I mean, they sell other brandies. Paul Masson. I saw Paul Masson at Walmart, $9.96. Price never went up. 5 years. $9.96. Paul Masson brandy, right on the shelf. Good stuff. Great stuff. I didn't say that. I said good stuff. Christian Brothers, same price, $9.96. Walmart. all day, every day. E&J, I would assume it's the same price. I didn't look at that one, but but no, 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 no. I got to get my Hennessy, and I'm gonna pay $34 for the bottle, even though I could get this other one for $9.96, and I may not be able to tell them apart because they both VS, young, kind of rough edge brandy, but that's cognac. And I might say, can you tell me what the difference is between cognac and brandy? You would get an answer, but it wouldn't make any sense. I mean, I've dealt with this all my life. I'll say, what is a cognac? Tell me. No answer. Because you don't know. Can you tell me the difference between cognac and brandy? No answer. Don't know. I got a guy telling me one time, I like stuff like Coors Light. That's my beer. I don't drink all those lagers. I say, okay. Now, I didn't make fun of the person or say, what's wrong with you? Don't you read the BJCP? Don't you sit down and read about beer? No, he's like most normal people. They just do normal things and not do that. But it's just amazing, that there is a large level of that kind of thinking. I ask people like, what kind of engine you got in your car? You're talking about having trouble with it. What you mean? Well, I don't mean who makes the engine. Like I got a car and it says Renault. The car is a Nissan, but the engine says Nissan Renault. Because Renault of France has a very powerful stake in Nissan. 43% of the company, basically, they probably have a controlling. It's not 51%, but they're the biggest shareholders, so they're going to have a lot of say-so in it. Just like Philip Morris didn't. Oh, they didn't actually have a majority of SAB Miller by 2016, but they were the biggest shareholders, so they could call the shots. And they had to decide to sell it before it got sold. So does Renault make good car motors, car engines? I don't know. I'm about to find out. The car was only made on August 20th, 2021 in Mexico. Made was when it was assembled. You know what I mean? But if you ask a lot of people, like, you say, well, I mean, what size engine? Like, is it a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder? They'll look at you like with a blank look. I mean, usually it's females, women, but some men even. Well, I don't know. It's like, what do you mean you don't know? You own the car? They don't know. I don't know. Lots of non-cognac brandy are fine to drink. Hennessy is nice, but overpriced. Yeah. The difference between is the place that it's made, and the grapes. Yeah, not so much the grapes. It's the location, Cognac has to be made in Cognac, France. Does that mean it's better? No, it means you're going to pay more. Do I like cognacs? Yes. Am I downing cognac and making fun of it? No. Have I had Martell cognac? Yes. The Blue Swift and the VS. They're great. I've had the Courvoisier VS. Nice VS. Hennessy VS. Yes, I like it. Don't like the price. I had the VSOP Privilege. Way better. Way better. And the price is a little bit higher. Not really that much higher. The Hennessy Black. Even better. Even better in that dark purple bottle. They try to make it look black, but if you hold it on the light, it's clearly violet purple. I had the Ansac cognac. It's not great, but it's pretty good. And all of this. But now they have the Saint Remy. That's the French brandy, Saint Remy. It's part of Remy Cointreau. But the Remy Martin is the cognac. The ones that's not made in Cognac, France, because they own other distilleries around France and they're not going to waste them. They just make in French brandy and these other places. Do I find that it's much different from the Cognac French brandy? I don't find it's any different if you want to get techno. All right. Now the question here, though, because you could go on and on talking about these things, they're kind of interesting, but the question right now, Is the Crown Royal Black going to really be $36 better per liter? I mean, that's a lot to ask, $36. Now, this morning, I know some people are going to say, oh, well, I watched that video this morning and you got it wrong. You couldn't even tell Crown Royal from the McAdams. That's true. Which means I don't have enough practice. I'm trying to practice right now with the McAdams. But another thing about it, you would think if the Crown Royal was so fabulous, I would have guessed that it was better. But I was saying, oh yeah, this is kind of rough around the edges. Crown Royal tends to be that way. But it was actually the McAdams that was rough around the edges. But the Crown Royal had the smoother things. Wasn't no $20 better though. It was better. Wasn't $20 better. But it's your money. Buy what you want. You may as well buy what you want, right? I had somebody say, I got a right to be a beer snob. I said, of course you have a right to be a beer snob. You buying it. If you're buying it, say what you want. Even if somebody's giving it to you, say what you want. But you may not want to say it to them. They're giving you free beer and you're going to tell them how bad it is. That might not be very nice. But yeah, evaluate it your way. I never said people shouldn't be a beer snob. I never said that. I never took issue with it. I just said, well, I'm going to criticize them doing it, and I'm going to tell you why. I didn't say they had no right to do it, but I certainly brought up points that I thought were relevant and cogent and sensible. So if they got a right to be that way, I got a right to talk about them being that way. Yeah, no problem. Oh, you can smell that charred oak and that almost like pancake maple syrup, deep syrup. Got to be the Crown Royal Black. Got to be the Crown Royal Black. Maybe I didn't mention it, but it's got to be the Crown Royal Black. Kind of basic over here. If you want to say a little bit plain. But notice I didn't say terrible, awful, horrible, and all these bad attributes that you read about. You want to know what it smelled like? It smelled like a multitude of distilled grains. You say multigrain, like those cereal bars. Kind of like that, actually. But with 40% alcohol. Now, I'm not joking about that. I'm not trying to be flip, make a joke, be silly. They do smell very similar to those multigrain bars. But those will have oats a lot of times, and I don't think they're using oats. But it's just that all these mixed grains. People will say, this beer smells grainy, or the beer tastes grainy. That makes sense. Beer's made from grain. It would make sense that it tastes grainy. Now, the yeast strains and whatnot can make it taste fruity and all of this. Because the yeast can be very eclectic, which doesn't really make sense. Sound like a bad rec. Taste time. I'm still saying that's Crown Royal Black on aroma, though. I'm calling it already. You know what I'm saying? Haha. Well, that's Crown Royal Black. Ding, 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 ding. Knew I wouldn't get that wrong. Knew I wouldn't get that wrong. Funny to think Coors Light not being a lager, but and then Lurks. I wouldn't call it a traditional lager, but it's a lager for sure. Yeah, it's a light lager. Cheap beer definitely has a time and place. And other people say never, never, never. Well, it's there, right to do, whatever, ever they want. For sure, even though in Ontario we don't got anything that really qualifies as cheap beer. Hey, you got to pay for that free healthcare some kind of way. I saw this thing about in Australia, or no, United Kingdom. They were saying, and if you don't show this certificate that you've had something, and injected in you, then you're going to have to pay for the test with your own money. And I'm like, well, they already paid for the healthcare service, because the people in England have told me we get free healthcare. I say, free? How is it free? The government has a job? They seem perplexed. I say, yeah. I said, does the government have a job? And they like, well, the government isn't a person. It doesn't have a job like you or I. I said, but it's an entity. It has to get the money from somewhere. And guess where it's coming from? You. They're taking it out of your right pocket so they can put it in your left pocket and tell you it's free. Look, we're giving it to you. We're giving you 10 pounds. Oh, brilliant. Righto. Cheerio. Where'd you get those 10 pounds? From you. You're daft. I'm not daft. Taxes. They haven't limited our healthcare based on medical choices in Canada, but they have limited the ways we can express our mobility rights, which I don't agree with. Well, tyrannical. You see, when you live under these totalitarian systems, they kind of dictate how you can live. Ask Mussolini. He started all of that more or less, and they copied it. People that didn't take the mRNA therapy cannot get on trains or planes, which is insane. I could go on Buffalo, board a plane, but not in Ontario. Yeah, well, it's like I was just saying, when you get these totalitarian systems like you had in Italy under Mussolini, Spain, well, they weren't as strict in Spain. That's a bad example. Under Franco, I was going to say, but it was much less authoritative. I mean, they were authoritarian in some senses, in some way, but they didn't, harass you about these kind of things. Oh, what? Great Britain, big, or Canada, United States, Australia. Russia is almost as strict. China is fairly strict, communist China. Maybe not quite as strict as the United States in some ways, but it's stricter in other ways, though. A lot. But they're all, these authoritarian governments. We'll tell you what to do. We know what's best for you. Do what we say, you midget, you idiot, you troublemaker, you right deviationist, or whatever, whatever pejorative they'll come up with. You knucklehead. Just smoke marijuana and stay high and stay out of our hair. Go get a tattoo. Go party. Go smoke more marijuana. you know the attitude, how these people think. Be satisfied with your government funded apartment. If the sink is not working, we'll replace it one day down the road. Now let me go back to my villa. I'm busy with all the I got a meeting with Eric Clapton later. I got to pay him off so he'll shut his mouth. All right. It's quite funny because to do indoor dining, you have to have taken both, but outdoor does not matter, where it leads to most breweries and such serving both groups outside together. Right. Yeah, it's idiocy on parade. You can't sit inside and eat without it, but you can go inside and guard the washroom past the unfiltered door dining area. Unfilled indoor. Yeah, it's like I said, it's idiocy on parade. But if you say those things, they'll say, you're a theorist. You believe in, I'm going to make fun of you. That's their argument. I'll make fun of you because I defend science. Well, I just asked a question. Like if you were in science class back in the 1980s and you asked a teacher, well, why is that geological thing like that? I don't understand. They might say, oh, well, you see, it's because of this type of rock or whatever. Oh, okay. But here now, that's how science works today. If you ask a question, you get ridiculed. You're so stupid. You wear a tinfoil hat. No, I just asked a question. That's not good science to tell me I'm stupid and I wear a tinfoil hat to ask a question. That's your evidence to ridicule people. That's your evidence. And I was watching that on Facebook about 3 years ago. They were talking about flat Earth versus spinning globe, and people will say, "What side are you on?" I don't even care about stuff like that. I'll tell you the truth. I'm doing a taste challenge. I don't really care. I mean, it's interesting, but I don't worry about it. But I just noticed, and I notice things. See, that's the problem with my channel. I have a tendency to notice things. I was watching that the way that people defended the spinning globe Earth was to make fun of the people asking the question. You're so stupid. You need to go back to third grade. You're a dummy. You're a fool. I bet you live in your mother's basement. And I was thinking to myself, I said, is that really a proper way to frame your argument? I don't know. I just don't think it is. Like, it really encourage people to adopt your position when the point of debate is to say ugly things to them. It almost makes it seem like maybe what you're defending isn't true. Because if it was so true, you could just say, well, here are the facts. I'll show you, I'll demonstrate it. And they probably have scientists that will argue that way and do have good sense. But for some reason, they don't get the attention. It's like questions about history. You might say, well, I don't know. I got some questions about this event in history. I don't know. You saying that this many things this happened with this many people, and I was looking at the numbers, and they don't make sense. And to me, I don't understand. I'm confused. And if they say, well, I got a law, I'll put you in jail. It's against the law to ask that question in this country. You might start to think, what? I never heard of that. Putting people in jail because they asked a question about history. And it's like, no, I will do it. I don't know. I always did have a fascination for things that seem very strange. I had students ask me questions about history, and I never threatened to have them put in jail. I would just say, well, either I don't know the answer, or let me see if I can find out, or I would say, well, yeah, well, here's the answer. Let me show you why. And then everything passed without any controversy. We're talking about two different whiskeys. Doesn't have to be like hysteria and totalitarianism. You like one, or you prefer the other, or you're indifferent to the two. All right, let's close this out. Science is questions. That's what I thought. See, I was raised in a more of a liberal arts approach to education, whereas like you ask questions, and they were telling us, well, Galileo brought up some topics, and they won't put the man in prison, excommunicating from the church, and he was saying, no, it's just my theory. And then later, all the people that wanted to put him in prison were saying, well, he was right. We were wrong. And that's how we were taught in Louisiana. Now, some people make fun of Louisiana because it's a southern state, but those people are probably ignorant. But almost certainly they are. But there was never an approach when I grew up about this is the way it is, and you have to accept it. It's a religion. You must accept. It was just never that way. It was just never that way. But then they had this new thing coming along the last 25, 30 years with these fanatics, these fanatics that run everything. And they're obviously fanatics because they act like fanatics, they're crazy. You notice the dynamics that don't make sense, or at least you realize when someone is making their whole point a straw man or an insult, do they really have a point regardless of the topic? No, they don't. Hello, Ronald. Shout out, says NJ991. We were taught the same way in Ontario regarding Galileo. Yes, I mean, I've dealt with these fanatics on Facebook and other social media. They're just fanatics. They'll say, oh, that's the way it is. I don't have to answer your question. I'm unfriending you. I'll show you I'm right. I know I'm right. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't know anything. You're dumb and you don't even know it. You think you're smart, but you're not. To go run and hide like the Wizard of Oz behind a curtain, and that's your argument, pay no mind to the man behind the curtain, I am the great and powerful Oz, that's not a good argument. To me, that's a very weak argument. And it's embarrassing and it's shameful, and you should be ashamed to have that attitude. And I've dealt with so many people like that. You say, well, it was a sensitive topic. There's a lot of sensitive topics. Okay. If you're not grown up enough to deal with sensitive topics, you need to go back and, just don't deal with grown up topics. Just deal with what most people deal with on Facebook. Oh, look, we were partying. I got a tattoo. Look at this gum. It got stuck on my shoe. Look at this joke. Ain't it funny? That kind of stuff. Dribble drabble, um, it's like your life is like Friends. You say Friends, you mean that old sitcom from the 90s and the early 2000s? Yeah, but you're living it. You could watch that show and say, this is terrible. This is not funny. These are not real people. I hope these are not real people. This is like some kind of insane, fake, pretend world where it's all scripted with bad acting and glib humor that is terrible. And I used to look at that and I said, I can't watch this. This is the worst. This is terrible. And but these people live that life. They live it like for real, but it's terrible. You know what I'm saying? They can't ultimately it's a situation where they cannot evaluate things in an objective manner. They cannot what's the term? They cannot look at things in a hypothetical sense. You understand? Everything is like tunnel vision. Like there's only like one perspective, like a little kid. They say, well, I wasn't watching television, so it must not be on. But these are adults that like 55 years old, and they think when they're not watching television that it's not on. So it's sad. They can't look at things in an abstract manner. That's another thing. They can't look at things abstractly. Like saying, well, I know you don't live in Ukraine, and we didn't say that you lived in Ukraine. We're looking at a situation in Ukraine. Well, my uncle was from Ukraine, but that's not really related directly or indirectly to the topic at hand. That's that kind of mentality. And that looking at things hypothetically is like, well, let's say that you did live in Eastern Ukraine and you had a Russian ethnic background. But the people will come back on Facebook. Well, I'm not Russian. I know I'm saying, let's say if you did. Well, anyway, it's crazy. It's funny in a sad sort of way, in a perverse funny, funny, but like not really funny at all. Hello, Ronald. Shout outs. You were taught the same way. Now, people like to think they are right, even when in reality they are ignorant about a lot of things. I know they talk about that on CBS News overnight, like at 2 a.m. They'll talk about people that they have to be right. They cannot say things like, "Oh yeah, I was wrong. I'm sorry." They'll go on and keep defending. Well, it's not true. One of the things I respect about Ron is he does not claim that he is right 100% of the time. He simply shares his opinion and lets you make your own opinions on it. Agree. Yeah, I'm not like some guru on like I'm the paragon of all knowledge. You must accept every order I give you, no matter how ridiculous, No, it's just I'm some guy on the internet doing videos. It's ultimately what it is. Now, getting back to this and getting away from esoteric examinations of social interaction on social media. Look, the McAdams is not going to change the way you think about whiskey. And if it did, I don't know why it would. It's just regular old run of the mill, ordinary Canadian blended whiskey, which is not saying a bad thing about it. It's just ordinary. It's fine. All right. If you're not asking for too much and you're not looking too much, that's good because you ain't getting too much. But you didn't pay too much. See what I'm saying? See where we're going? You only paid $7.99 for a whole liter. It's just, I think the worst you could say about it is kind of bland. But if you really try hard, if you try really hard, you just dig down and you give it all your might, you can find some flavors and aromas and little intricate characters. Is it worth doing that? Probably not. You only pay $7.99. But it's fine to come on here and people write reviews about taste. It tastes like rubber from an old shoe and smells like airplane glue and old rancid cabbage and battery acid. I don't know what kind of attention those people did not get when they were little, but they're not going to get attention from me. By golly, it doesn't taste anything like that. Just like regular old, tastes like regular old Canadian whiskey, and that's about all you can say about it. Would I pay $7.99 for it? Sure would. Would I recommend it for that price? I certainly would. But don't expect a lot. But then, of course, most intelligent people aren't going to. Now, Crown Royal Black, is it a much better product? Now, it is. Honestly, it is. It's pretty neat. It's a neat product. Like kids say, that was neat. I saw that movie. That was neat. Or my grandpa used to say, that was swell. That was a swell game. Because that's some kind of thing they used to say on our game. If you ever watched Little Rascals from the late 1920s, early 1930s. Oh, yeah, that was swell. We had a swell time at the circus, hey? Well, my grandpa was 10 years old in 1930. Well, at the very end of 1930, he was 11, but I'm talking about the last 5 days. But that's the way they spoke back then. So this is like that. This is neat. This is a swell product. It does have a lot more developed quality. It is charred oak. It is that pancake dark blackstrap molasses. It is a cool product. It is worth the price. I am glad I bought it. I would buy it again. I would highly recommend it. I love drinking it. I would not get tired of it. It isn't boring. It's an exciting product. Now, what did they say about it? A rich and flavorful blend of Canadian whiskey. Yep, absolutely. All the signature smoothness of Crown Royal. Yep. Matured in charred oak. It's clearly matured in charred oak. Does that company have the money to char barrels for Canada? Yeah, Diageo, like the biggest liquor company in the world. I'm pretty sure they can handle that. And blend it at a higher proof. Yep. For a richer texture, absolutely, in a bold finish. All those things are true. That's a totally accurate description of the product. All right. If you have not had Crown Royal, you should immediately buy it. If you like Canadian whiskey, immediately buy it. Now, on the other hand, you say, uh-oh, I knew this was a setup. On the other hand, is it really worth $36 more? Okay. Depends what your utilization is. If you're going to mix it with Coke or RC Cola and eat a moon pie with it, why would you do that? Just pay $7.99, get the McAdams, it'll be fine. I don't know why people buy Crown Royal Black. What I mean is, I don't know what their purpose is with it. Are they are they making cocktails, highballs? Are they drinking it neat or drinking it on the rocks? I don't talk to anyone who drinks Crown Royal Black. I don't really know anyone who drinks Crown Royal Black, and I never hear anyone talking about Crown Royal Black. But it's definitely worth the $43.99 a liter. I don't have a liter, but converted to whatever price it was for the $7.50. It's worth it. It's worth it. Don't even hesitate. Buy it. No, I mean, if it's some crazy price like $65 a liter, no, I wouldn't buy it. But do I think it has any imperfections? Is there something wrong with Crown Royal Black? I'd love to know what that would be. I'd love to know what that would be. You tell me, because I don't see it. Now I've got a third of the box. Yeah, it's a third. 366. Yeah. So yeah. Have I ever thought anything bad about it in all these tastes? No way. No way. No way. No way. You find all kind of flaws with this, you let me know, because I don't know what they are. It is a juke. Now, what about Canadian Club 12-year aged? Okay, that's a close competitor. It might be it might actually be better than the Crown Royal Black, but it's going to cost you just as much for the liter, so that's not really a point of contention. I don't know, about $36 more. It's all about how your budget looks, really. I mean, if you just want to be super budget conscious and buy all, you say, oh no, I'm going to only pay $7.99 to $10.99 for a liter of Canadian whiskey for the rest of my life. I'm going to buy all the different brands. I'm going to buy them all. I'm going to make the meats. I'm going to make all the meats and do that. And yeah, it's fine. But they'll all taste the same. You say, but I look at all the different labels I collected in my bottle collection. That's fine, because you're not going to taste much difference on the flavor. So there's no drawback, but you're not going to really experience what Canadian whiskey has to offer until you start jumping. You got to climb the ladder if you want to taste all the experiences. Is the bottom rung bad? No. You get these snob people on the internet. It's flavored vodka. It's not flavored vodka. Okay, I've tasted vodka. It's not, but they're full of hate and they didn't get enough attention, so they need it. But you really need to climb the ladder if you can afford it. I'm not saying people should buy things they can't afford. I would never say that. But I don't know about the $36. It's like a riddle that cannot be solved. You cannot determine that. You cannot determine it, because it's just a totally subjective thing. I mean, you don't have to go to Middendorf's and get a seafood platter. That's going to cost, a whole lot more than it really cost them to make it. You could stay home and eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which would be fine. But you see, you do want to go to Middendorf's and get the seafood platter, I think. But anyway. Okay, so Crown Royal wins. On taste, a clear winner, Crown Royal Black. I mean, there's really no competition. So obviously better. Obviously better. Now, what about the $36 difference? That's debatable. I don't even know the answer, and I'm not going to try to answer the question because I don't know. I hate all the new seltzers. Daniel Sanders said, I don't hate them because I don't even drink them. I guess I don't like them. I guess I hate them. It's probably more of a special occasion to pay that price. Yeah. Cheap and food, he said. People that spend that price on a regular basis probably turn their nose up at the name Crown Royal. Probably. I'm not a Crown Royal hater. I'm telling you, I'm not a Jack Daniels hater. I know people that run across a ballroom during a wedding reception to scream at you, telling me they overheard somebody say Jack Daniels. Or run across the ballroom. I hate Jack Daniels. I wanted to let you know I hate Jack Daniels. It's like, I wasn't even talking to you. And furthermore, I didn't need to know that. There's a lot of people that hate Jack Daniels for no good reason. Does it have a rum molasses taste to you? Yes, that's one thing I've heard about the Crown Royal. It does, actually. It does have a rum / molasses or even maple syrup, pancake syrup taste. It's really good. I mean, it's really good. $7.99 to $10.99, so that's where all of our whiskey goes. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not taking issue with it. I buy a lot of $7.99 to $10.99 Canadian whiskeys, and they're good. I never had one that was bad. Never. I never had one that was bad. Ever. Now, I had some that were questionable, but they weren't bad. But Crown Royal Black is good. It's nice. It is nice. It is really nice. I love it. Could I drink it all day? I could. I'd turn into I'd wrap myself up in a blanket and lay on the floor all day. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't go mad. But if I went mad, I might go crazy and go mad with Crown Royal Black. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm just jealous. I'm sure they're all fine. I just wish we could get them for around that price. Anyways, have a nice day. Enjoyed the stream. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I wish y'all could get them too. I'm sorry y'all got to pay these exorbitant prices, but don't feel too bad, because they got some American states like Pennsylvania and Alabama, where they pay outrageous prices for ordinary stuff. Absolutely outrageous prices. It's horrible. All right, thanks everybody for watching this video production. Now it's on to lunch. Everybody have a good lunch and then take a nice nap.